Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with a full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined tonight by the Dark Fortune Duelist Meta.
Hey, what's up? I'm just sitting here doing stuff. How are you?
I'm good, Meta. Thanks for asking.
Good.
And the resident wildcard Mao.
Yo.
And Tetsuo is not with us. He had his baby yesterday.
He did.
So he's going to be a busy dad for a while.
Another soldier in the fight against the Shadowlands.
Those are his words, not ours, by the way. We would never subject a newborn child to those horrors.
Look, Obs, they have to grow up sometime.
The crab got to grow up really fast, especially.
Yeah, they have to really fast.
So it's Valentine's Day, the day we're recording.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know Meta's the only one with plans.
I'm the only one with plans. Nothing crazy.
I got my date with Jose Cuervo. That's what I've been talking about.
Jose Cuervo will never leave me.
There's they just released a new Fanta that's green apple flavored.
Really?
And it goes really well with tequila. So that's what I'm drinking tonight.
I love green apple flavors, but they are sometimes hit or miss depending on where you get it from.
Yeah, this one's not bad. I mean,
Fanta's always been pretty strong in its flavorings. I kind of like that about Fanta.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to try their green apple now.
Get it while it lasts.
Yeah, right.
Before it's gone.
I always
Don't
hated
succumb
that.
to the inferior pineapple.
I always hated that, like, seasonal flavors. I'm like, really? Just keep it around all the time. You literally make this flavoring with chemicals.
How's Taco
There's
Bell
no
going to get you to
shortage.
come back for the nacho fries, Meta? They're unironically worst item on the menu, and yet they market it harder than anything else.
I just love my Baja Blast, and I go to Taco Bell. What?
Please tell me you're joking.
No, I love Baja Blast.
God,
I love that flavor.
no.
I love that flavor. Obs, it's the right flavor to choose.
What about Gamer Fuel, dude? I got my Halo
God.
Mountain Dew.
No, I don't like Gamer Fuel.
Not really.
The flavor, you know what? Honestly, though, that flavor's really silly because Live Wire is essentially that flavor.
Yeah, it's just like I think it's cherry as opposed to orange.
It's got a cherry flavoring on it. It's still like an orange flavoring. It's just got cherry in it. And spices. It's almost like the Dr. Pepper for Mountain Dew.
So many flavors. Who gives a shit?
So
at this
many
point?
flavors.
I like the
Bring
grape
everything
one.
in.
Grape Mountain Dew is best Mountain Dew. The blue one's fine too.
What?
You don't like the blue one?
No, I like the blue one. But
Okay, I was about to say everybody loves the blue one.
I was gonna say, but you said you like the grape one.
Yeah, the grape one.
Is that the
black something? I don't remember what they call it.
Blackout? It's called Blackout. I think.
Yes, that's my favorite.
That's the one that beat Baja Blast, and that's why we can never be.
But it's not the American flag one. No one likes that one.
Oh no, I've never tried that one.
Not really into any of them.
It's just red, white, and blue.
I think I like Code Red the most, but I don't drink. I like Coke and Cherry Coke are like the only sodas I can really tolerate.
We'll judge them on the aesthetics of the bottle, Mal.
You judge them. Gotta judge them from the art perspective.
Well, I
Use
want
your
it to be
discerning
red
eye.
then, like the blood of my enemy.
All right, there you go. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a
I
good
asked your
reason
opinion, and you gave it.
There you go.
That was our first topic, sodas.
I know, right?
No, right? We just went right into soda.
Dude, I mean, I could rant about it forever if you want.
topic.
We could do soda industry.
We'll do soda
I don't
industry.
care.
There we go.
It's
That's
Valentine's
the new
Day.
topic,
Who
right?
gives a shit? All
You
right.
ever seen them make? Or you ever seen them how they make the 2-liter bottles and stuff?
No, I've not actually.
Yeah.
It's like a little test tube piece of plastic, and then they just use enough pressure and air to blow it into
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's like a tiny
Oh,
little
wow,
thing.
that's
and it
neat.
goes,
tiny little thing, and then it just expands out into this
Yeah.
bottle. I'm like, I had no idea.
It's pretty neat to see.
And to think, I went to the Coke
Crazy.
bottling plant when I was in elementary school because it's in town, and I don't remember that happening.
Did they still have? Were you just like when they said Coke bottling though? But were they just metal? Were they or not metal? Wow, glass.
I think I remember cans more than anything,
Okay.
but I don't. We were literally in like first grade, so that's a while ago, 25 years ago. So
Tempting to keep your memory from first grade is hard.
yeah. I just wanted Coke. That was all I cared about when we went there. I didn't care about how anything worked.
Where's the Coke?
It would have been much more fascinating if it was like middle school when we went there.
Probably.
But, anyways, well, I mean, let's ditch this Coke talk.
Yeah,
it's not interesting. Let's get into some
real meat.
Let's go from something light and fizzy to something heavy and filling.
Oh man,
you're up first.
I don't know. Carbonation is kind of filling, so maybe you're not going as far as you think. But it is kind of heavy. Obviously, if you haven't been paying attention to anything at all
in the past few months,
yeah, right. It's been building up to this. Blizzard finally went around to releasing a large number of their employees. Just this, I think Tuesday or Wednesday was it?
I think it was officially yesterday, Wednesday.
Yeah, quote unquote. No, looking at I think from the NASDAQ, it shows Tuesday.
Okay, one of those days.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was like
12th.
Broken yesterday, like confirmed finally.
Yeah, the 12th is where it took the mightiest of plunges. So it's obviously this has had a pretty big, large effect around just about everywhere within gaming outlets and
yeah, Jason Schreier broke it on Tuesday.
Yeah, he'd been tweeting about it all week. So.
Oh yeah. You've got, if you look, I mean, if you just search it up, you've got Variety and Game Industry Biz also making
8% of their staff, roughly 9,600 employees.
Yeah,
means nearly 800 people are now cut off.
Mm-hmm. It's a hefty size. They did only take from apparently non-game development groups.
Yeah.
So anybody, essentially that means like community esports got really gutted.
Yeah. Blizzard went pretty hard on it, and it didn't really work out for them with Heroes of the Storm. And Hearthstone was pretty successful, but they just didn't really do enough with it, probably.
Hearthstone has also been on the downswing, though, I believe.
Yes. It's only, I think, as Tuesday last checked, it was only at 23K views on Twitch, which is not bad by any means.
No.
But considering that originally pulled in, it's a pretty hefty.
Them cutting community though is probably not a great sign either. It just means they're probably going to just listen to their community less and less.
Yeah, that's another issue.
Yeah, not essential to them.
All
of their service games, you would think community should be pretty important.
Yeah, I think is Blizzard the company that we probably most crapped on this podcast? It's either them or Capcom.
Like lately, I think
them, Capcom, and Squeenix, I think, are the big three that we crap on typically.
EA.
EA's been pretty bad. Blizzard, unfortunately, I think has probably had the most in recent.
Blizzard is EA, right? Activision.
No. It's
Activision part.
Activision.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird because Blizzard got bought by Activision, then Vivendi took over, then Blizzard bought themselves out with Activision. It's really weird. But essentially, as far as it matters, the Blizzard from 2004 and the Blizzard of now are very
basically
very
as the original higher ups from Blizzard left, more and more Activision, or at least people are led to believe, more Activision influences seeping in.
I saw Mark Kern commenting, the original lead guy for World of Warcraft, saying when he saw people starting to get when Blizzard basically went, we're like a big boy company now. We're an actual company, so these layoffs are just part of it. It's kind of like when he decided he wanted to go out and go indie. So,
yeah, it's unfortunate. That's kind of just the nature of the beast, you suppose. I mean, we've known they've had rumors about the layoffs and the talks of it since back in I think November last year.
Around BlizzCon.
Yeah, around BlizzCon, which, if you had watched BlizzCon or listened to our podcast earlier, did not go really spectacular for them at all.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the worst BlizzCons that has come around. They almost had nothing to really show off or talk about. The biggest thing was Diablo Immortal, and
I mean, honestly, they could have at least probably flown under the radar more if they had just presented some things better.
I think so. Unfortunately, they didn't, and that really bit them in the ass. As of November, and this is kind of one of the largest telling sides and most unfortunate. During October, from essentially between June 8th, 2018 to October 2018, they were fluctuating anywhere from between 70 to 80 on the NASDAQ. But around after just October and starting to get into November, that's when it just started to plummet like a man jumping off a cliff. Up until now, where they've gone from around 80, 70 to between 40 and 46 as the average. Yesterday took, obviously, not yesterday, Tuesday took a nasty hit.
That's
obviously
awful.
Yeah, it's pretty large. They've nearly halved their value, so to speak. Oof. So,
well, they also, I guess, or at least Activision, I believe, yesterday announced they had record profits.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Microtransactions, man.
It's kind of weird though, because like the current trend we're seeing from the dip, we don't know if it's going to go back up, because that October dip, like that's steadied out. That's like, as silly as it sounds, like around I'm going to say December and January, it's steadied out in the 40s, low, and like in the high 40s, low 50s, but it's always kind of been dipping down.
Yeah, it's just weird to report record highs, but but it didn't meet expectations.
Yeah,
and so they laid off a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's
but
the biggest
they also don't have any major games coming out this year.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say, is that they haven't announced anything for 2019, which probably doesn't help them a lot. It would have been easier if they had something.
Yeah, I believe Activision Blizzard's president has confirmed that they have like no major releases this year.
Yeah. Hopefully they have some really good updates for the stuff that are coming out, and they find something.
I hope so for WoW.
Yeah, WoW it's been really rough across most of their major platforms. BFA has not done well.
Overwatch is in decline.
Yeah, Overwatch is decline. Hearthstone has been a slow decay for a while. It's kind of lost a bit of itself. It's kind of just unfortunate, because we're really, it's almost like we're watching what was once originally a very big and loved game developer kind of hemorrhaging, and there's not a lot of there's no bandages to apply to it, which kind of sucks to see.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get back to the peak that they were, sadly.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, as I think Blizzard put it best in Wrath of the Lich King, no king rules forever.
Zing!
I saw like two different discussions talking about like their peak. I saw one was around Lich King, and then the other one was like, or when I guess they started to decline. Everything after that, the other one was when they decided to make StarCraft 2 like 3 different, or split it up into like 3 games.
Yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, they think the problems with the, so like, here's like the issue that I think with that idea in general, is that it almost starts to end up being like the DLC dilemma. The longer a game is out, the less people are going to buy DLC that comes out later. And with the game for StarCraft 2, a lot of people bought the first one, and then when the second one came out, not as many people bought it. And then I think what ended up happening for the last one is there was even less. I know, I could be wrong. That's only based on the time when they came out and the talk that I was seeing around it. So I haven't actually looked at the numbers, but that's what it sounded like. So I could be absolutely wrong. But it does follow into that DLC trend, and so if you split your large game into 3 pieces, it's probably not going to bode.
Like, I think general consensus, I think, is like the games have still been good when they put them out. Like, I think Diablo 3 stumbled, but ended up getting better by the end, or after like a year.
Yeah, Diablo 3 Diablo 3 had a pretty rough point with the harder difficulties. One of the biggest complaints was that there were literally memes and jokes going around that, like, you want to play a monk at hardest difficulty, here's what you do. First, you run through the game, and then when you're on the hardest difficulty, delete monk and make a wizard. So I mean, like those kind of jokes are running around all over the place. So, but they eventually did balance that out. And there's crazy builds nowadays that you can do with it. They've got tons of like set bonuses and other things and whatnot. It's pretty deep, just very RNG-ish. It's very
But yeah, I mean, like Hearthstone widely well received when it first came out.
Absolutely.
Overwatch well received.
Yeah.
Like
it's all been doing well. It's just it's not as
just
good.
the decisions
Yeah.
after have been
Yeah.
not
BlizzCon was like the the glaring message that revealed that.
Yeah.
That info
right.
now.
Exactly.
That was kind of like we've
They're
always
just kind of
been
tone deaf as a company right now. Especially
It was-
like that and WoW. Just them not listening to the WoW community at all.
Because I mean the BFA and the Azerite issue has been kind of like it was always been sort of there in Legion. It was all like it's just in a different form, but it's always been kind of a complaint of like how much grinding and some of the RNG that's in Legion.
Yeah.
And then when BFA came out, there's more RNG and there's a lot more grinding for very little success.
Yeah, the Azerite traits themselves are the big culprit there.
Yeah, it's as you stated. I think the icing on the cake, the point where somebody went up to the glass and finally breathed on it and rubbed away some of the dirt on it to look inside was BlizzCon, and that's kind of when the people noticed like, wow, they're not listening. So
I think the only thing they can really do, I think I'm sure StarCraft 3 would sell gangbusters and stuff and make their stock go back up some. Warcraft 4 would be huge, but they're never going to do that, I don't think. Because where would it fall? Like, where would the story fall? It would have to be like a really big prequel or like a much later game. Because they're not going to stop doing WoW. WoW is what keeps them alive as a company.
Yeah,
Or they'll try to reboot the whole timeline.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those.
Like a different telling of the tale.
Because, I mean, they're doing like the remastered, but I mean, that's literally just a remastering, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they could just do an actual remake.
Yeah.
But if they're doing a remaster, they're probably not going to remake it.
No, if the terminology's been getting more solid recently, but remaster is moving into the area of like you just take an old game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're not going to go ahead and remake it if they're right now remastering it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're remastering 3.
Yeah. You know what I think what also kind of makes this whole layoff such a big issue for a lot of people is the news of the CEO getting a 15 million bonus.
Yeah, again, tone deaf and bad timing. They should have not ever released that.
It's essentially just a twist of a knife that's already been kind of
doing the whole earnings report and layoffs at the same time probably not the best. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it makes the most financial sense. Or it might be just the switching of the fiscal year type stuff is why it happened, probably.
Yeah, maybe they're required to reveal his earnings too. It could be something like that. I don't know.
The fiscal, I know generally a lot of people do the fiscal year in October. So when you get around to that time and that information comes out, and then you've got the rumors of potential layoffs right as the fiscal information is being dropped, that's kind of like where, it's just little pieces of, just little blocks stacking up that are eventually going to fall over. And this, unfortunately, is just kind of coming to fall out. I mean, we knew, a lot of people knew this was coming. It's not like this is brand new, new. It's not, it's not like somebody swept the rug out of them. It's just, it sucks because we've been building up to this. And now that the numbers are out, a lot of people have been affected. I mean, 8% of a company is a pretty big chunk. Regardless of where they're being pulled from, that's a lot of people to just, have to let go. Which, I mean, it happens. It's business. People do get let go, and it's unfortunate, and it really does suck. But this has just been very rough for a lot of small things adding up. Or I guess not small, depending on who you're talking to, but it's enough that it's made this a very rough thing to deal with. So. It really sucks. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know there's been. I know some people have been saying this is also a reason to unionize. Other people have been saying that's not really going to change anything if you did unionize. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in that area at all, but I will say from just the experience that I've had dealing with companies and hire up with CEO and whatnot and so forth. Unions don't generally change. Too much in this realm. I've seen companies who have unions that are unionized and they still have large layoffs. It doesn't always save people for having it unionized, and it doesn't change really.
It's more the other stuff is.
Yeah, it's really the other stuff
they care about.
Yeah. So I mean, I for anybody who's shouting we should unionize for this, other people saying damn the unions. it wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed too much regarding this. You would still have the layoffs. It just might have changed how some of it was gone about.
Right.
It's more like severance package stuff, like
Yeah.
guaranteed severance package.
Yeah,
so
that's what I've seen people talking about for the stuff.
In which Activision did, or Blizzard, I guess, did give them
They did
severance
They did.
packages.
They
so
did
they
give
got
severance
that.
packages, so they got it regardless.
The letter promises that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's
Okay,
cool.
there you go.
Hopefully they actually
follow
back.
through.
There are alleged
Exactly.
there are alleged severance packages in play. We cannot confirm or deny that a Blizzard ex-employee has received one or not.
Sir, from Daily Bugle, you noticed that you had severance packages in your paper. I'm not
Putting
taking
that
any more
journalism
questions
degree
today.
to good work, right?
Exactly. I cannot confirm or deny that we have severance packages to give out.
Yeah, unions have just been kind of one of those things that has been slowly on the rise of talking about in the video game world.
It has.
Yeah,
So,
with voice acting
that's probably,
and stuff too.
Yeah,
if I were to take a stab without any real knowledge information of going into the history of unions and the trends that follow them, with just the talk itself and how it continues to grow up, I'm almost guessing that it's probably an inevitability that eventually they're like.
Oh, I'm sure someday.
Yeah,
I'm not going to comment on my position on them here, but
but I can
because it tends to get political. But
yes, and don't want to get too delving into that, but I could see it happening, for better or for worse. I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, history of gaming in itself and gaming development has not always been the kindest to the developers. EA has pretty notorious.
Crunch is the number one.
Yeah, quote unquote crunch time.
Honestly, I think the big ones are generally the best about crunch because they have the capability, the staff numbers,
the resources.
It's usually the smaller ones. Like I know CD Red with The Witcher 3 was notorious, but it gets like a pass because the internet loves it.
Yep.
The company, so that sort of thing.
It's okay that they put their people through that rough crunch time.
Read Jason Schreier's book is actually pretty good about the world of game developing and stuff. Like
game developing is a rough world to get into. Yeah,
his book, it's a really good book.
What's the name of the book?
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Oh yeah,
focuses on like the development of 10 different games.
Wow,
from indies to like AAA stuff. So
that'd be very interesting to read. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's pretty much the big thing that's happened within the gaming world, at least this week. Hopefully,
it's like number one news story.
Yeah, hopefully, or maybe not. Hopefully, it'll stay quiet next week. We don't know. Sure, it does give us something to talk about, though.
But we need stuff to talk about. We need juicy drama.
More tragic things we need to happen, so we have something to talk about.
No, Wada came back and he died again.
Damn it, Wada! How could you do this?
Wada-san. It's Koizumi who dies now. Or Reggie. Reggie's in the hospital. He had a heart attack.
I know.
Bill Trinan lost his voice forever. He can't translate anymore. All my Nintendo... I need my puppets. I was hoping for a puppet in the direct, but what are you going to do?
I loved those puppet bits.